For those who are familiar with universal law, you might be familiar with this law called the law of fish and the law of schools. Interchangeable though, the law of fish and schools. This is what goes behind the salutation that you see in a lot of conscious communities that says love and light. Love and light is coming out of the tradition of the law of school and fish. This was originally teaching us how to navigate in the age of Pisces, because just like the symbol, we were fish swimming in two directions, like fish being pulled apart, like our natures were opposite. And the big test in the Piscean age was reconciling which current we become a part of. Will the fish come together? Because who wants to be pulled apart? You have expansion in terms of scouting, which is a particular intuitive insight that is gifted upon all Pisceans. But to be pulled apart in dichotomy and double-mindedness leads to the most volatile forms of instability. A double-minded person is unstable in all of their ways. So not only were you being made double if you weren't careful, double-minded, but your minds would be so far apart. Like, you might be a life coach with one mind and a serial killer or something with the other mind. You be pulled all the way apart if you don't get the gravity of what was happening in the Piscean age. So you had the law of school and fish that taught you how to navigate. The fish, singular swimming organism. The school is a body of fish, what you would call a group of fish. They would be referred to as a school. So in all schools there is swimming, and the ultimate idea of all schooling and scholastic activities is to what? Learn. And learning is swimming. It's the law of school and fish. This also ties into another high level teaching that goes into the house of light. And this has everything to do with seminary and being born through the seminary education, which also was tied into the seminary fluids. So they talk about the entire reproductive process between humans, and they link up each element with that to a corresponding gift or acquisition. And that process of you evolving to be your best self. Where are these fish swimming? You're swimming to be born again, to be born anew. If you're not swimming, you're considered dead in the water. If the fish are just bouncing up and down off the ocean's floor, bouncing off this, bouncing off that, bumping into the little sand castle out, you know what I mean? You're going to think it's dying or it's sick or it's dead if it no longer flaps and it no longer swims. This is why you should never give up. This is why you should never give up. Because the moment you do give up, the highest forms of you will paint a picture of you like being dead in the water. This is the law of school and fish, you understand? So you have to keep swimming. Don't be discouraged by the definition of insanity, because that's not always what you're implementing, with your consistence and being persistent. It's like, man, I got to try 10,000 times to get this light bulb to work. Just because you failed 10,000 times, don't fall under the uber mesh energy that because you failed 10,000 times, you tried 10,000 things the same way. You're making little adjustments here and there. And even if you were going back to it, you were making sure. And yes, you should expect a different result each time. But insanity is a tricky word that unless you understand the law of school and fish as well, you won't see the trick knowledge that's wrapped in the word insanity. Because it's not telling you what you think. It's really a bait and switch trick word. Sanity is what it's called to be in your right mind. And of course, we know to put in as a prefix before a word connotates the negation of whatever that particular adjective is to follow. Yeah, we get that. But if you're just looking at the words for what they are, insanity has two words. That sanity is something that you're obviously inside of. So there is going to be a certain level of persistence, digging, swinging your pickaxe, digging in that mine until you can find the diamond. You're going to have to keep swinging that pickaxe and keep digging with that shovel over and over and doing your reps over and over. Same routine, expecting something different. Each time you're expecting more growth. Yeah, you're going insane, but not clinically crazy. No, you're stepping into sanity. Giving up is more psychotic than holding on. To not give something even the faintest hearted attempt. That is more of a manifestation of neuroses, if you ask me. But I'm just being opinionated when I say that, though. That is really just an opinion, me thinking out loud. But so we have to know how to swim. So we went from that masculine 12 energy to now we're under the 13, the female energy, and 13 is a female number and is a dark number. Not dark meaning evil, dark meaning mysterious, intriguing, full of depth, full of character, mistaken for nothingness, mistaken for the void. Because deep in like the house of light type of school of thought, they're talking about there is really no such thing as nothingness. There is no nothing. Even what we're calling nothing, like triple darkness, that's not nothing. Darkness is a thing that lives. But they're talking about there's this transmission, this fine etheric substance. And again, they're talking about dark matter and or dark energy. Still saying the same thing that's talked about in, I believe, quantum physics. It's still the same thing. It just depends on how you can hear the message. That's why the scriptures say, whoever has an ear, let him hear. If they have an ear for this. If you don't have an ear for this, it's not going to be for you. But if you do have an ear for this, you're going to find these truths everywhere, these mysteries everywhere. You're going to find that no matter how the wind blows, you're safe in the tide, in the current, because you're not moving alone. It's a whole school of you. If you're learning, there's somebody in the world or in other worlds learning something too that's right along the lines of what you're learning. And whether you know it or not, you're all moving like an organism. This is the liquefied, voluminous version of birds of a feather flock together. Well, so fish of a school swim together. If birds of a feather flock together, then fish of a fin swim together. You're going to be on the same wavelength as others who are thinking along your same train of thought. God made it this way. The power of God made it this way. The connectivity, though, again, is much more feminine. Female is just a more socially verbose creature than the male. They speak roughly 20 to 30,000 more words per day than the male does. Has a lot to do with the oxytocin's relationship to their, I believe, hypothalamus, things of that nature when it comes to how they navigate through the fish, or I should say how they navigate through this law of schooling fish. But now the fish is in a bowl. Now the special fish have been selected out. And this bowl is held on the head of the person carrying. We're in Aquarius now. 13 energy. The schools are being trimmed down. Literally the schools are being trimmed down. Pandemic led to a lot of closures. So schools are being trimmed down because the law of school of fishes has transitioned. You know, its terms and conditions are different now. Its backdrop is different. We're not in the big ocean now with all of the fish swimming. It's not 50,000 of us moving as one organism anymore. Certain fish are put in a bowl and other fish are thrown back in the ocean. Now be careful if you're thrown back in the ocean. This is not what you think it is. Like, okay, well, I agree with the people. You guys are just weirdos. No, the people who are more so in the general know about things and going along with the general opinion, they may not have been put aside for anything special, because Aquarius is not about the ocean. It's about the person with the water pitcher who took the water, you know what I mean, up out of wherever they got the water from. So you're going from the ocean to the fish bowl in Aquarius. Special fish go in the fish bowl. And this is being carried what? To be upstairs, to be a part of the disciples in the Last Supper of the Christ. But either way, this is still talking about the upper room. And just in case you didn't get it, just in case you wanted to skip that part of scripture that points to the age of Aquarius, yeah, you're going to find a man with a water pitcher on his head. Like, just in case you didn't read that. And like, skipping around and all of that. He said it again. You know, he's going to go to the upper room. You're going to go to an upstairs room. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get it. Then later on, it says, well, Christ was carrying his cross to a place called Golgotha, place of the skull. The skull is located up on the body. So he was just letting you know, like, look, there's persecution that's going to start at first when you're coming in with the 13 energy. Look how they treat me. Look how they treated the prophets. Look how they treat you for speaking out and speaking about what you're speaking about. But you're a special fish. And it's just a matter of time before you get pulled out of the sea of commonality and brought upstairs to the penthouse suite. So again, it's Super T Sigma of Sigma Programming. I thank you for your time and attention. You already know reaching is teaching. Continue to vibrate high. Know yourself for yourself. Peace.